1. All right, let's dive a little deeper into this 1965 Chevrolet Corvair, shall we? First off, let's talk about the history of the Corvair. This car was introduced by Chevrolet in 1960 as a compact car with a rear-mounted engine. It was a bold move for the time, and it set the Corvair apart from anything else on the road. The 65 model year saw some significant updates to the Corvair, including a more powerful engine option and some styling tweaks that made it even more attractive. Now, I know what you might be thinking. Isn't the Corvair the car that Ralph Nader famously called out in his book Unsafe at Any Speed? And yeah, it's true that early Corvairs had some handling issues that were later addressed by Chevy. But that doesn't change the fact that the Corvair has become an iconic piece of American automotive history, beloved by collectors and enthusiasts alike. So what about this particular Corvair? Well, as I mentioned before, the seller hasn't given us a ton of details to work with. But based on the photos, it looks like this car has been well maintained over the years. The maroon paint job looks shiny and smooth, and the chrome trim appears to be in good shape. It's got that classic 60s style that just never goes out of fashion. Of course, with any classic car purchase, there are going to be some unknowns. We don't know anything about the mechanical condition of this Corvair, so it's definitely a good idea to get it inspected by a professional before making an offer. And even if everything checks out, you've got to be prepared for the ongoing maintenance and upkeep that comes with owning a vintage ride. But if you're up for the challenge and you've got a passion for classic cars, this 1965 Chevrolet Corvair could be a really exciting addition to your collection. It's a car that's sure to spark conversations wherever you go, and it's a tangible piece of American history that you can actually get behind the wheel and drive. So if you're serious about making this Corvair yours, my advice would be to reach out to the seller and try to get some more details about the car's history and condition. And if everything checks out and the price is right, go for it. Life's too short to drive boring cars, and this Corvair is anything but boring. 2. We've got a real treat for you, a 1977 Chevrolet Corvette that's up for sale on Craigslist. This classic American sports car is a true icon, and it's sure to get your heart racing. First off, let's talk about the condition of this Corvette. According to the seller, it's in good shape, which is always a plus when you're dealing with a car that's over 40 years old. The odometer reads just 70,000 miles, which is relatively low for a car of this age. That suggests that it's been well maintained over the years and it hasn't been driven into the ground. Now let's talk about the specs. This Corvette is powered by a 350 cubic inch V8 engine with a 4-barrel carburetor, which is a classic Chevy small block configuration. It's mated to an automatic transmission, which makes it easy to drive and perfect for cruising around town or hitting the highway. The car also has air conditioning, which is a must-have feature for those hot summer days. One thing that really stands out about this Corvette is the color. It's a beautiful shade of blue that really pops in the sunlight. The seller hasn't provided any photos of the interior, but based on the exterior shots, it looks like this car has been well cared for over the years. Now, let's talk about the price. At $12,000, this Corvette isn't exactly cheap. But when you consider the fact that it's a classic sports car with a clean title and low mileage, it starts to look like a pretty good deal. Of course, as with any used car purchase, it's always a good idea to get a professional inspection before making an offer. But if everything checks out, this could be a great opportunity to own a piece of American automotive history. The seller mentions that the tires were recently replaced in June of this year, which is another good sign. It shows that they've been taking care of the car and investing in its upkeep. Overall, if you're in the market for a classic Corvette, this 1977 model is definitely worth checking out. It's got a great color, a powerful engine, and a relatively low mileage for its age. Plus, with air conditioning and a clean title, it's a car that you can enjoy driving right away. Just be prepared to turn some heads when you're cruising down the street in this American icon. 3. We're taking a closer look at a 1977 Lincoln Continental that's up for grabs on Craigslist. And let me tell you, this baby is a real head-turner. First off, can we talk about the price? At just $7,200, this Continental is a steal. You're getting a whole lot of car for your money here, folks. And according to the seller, this beauty is in good condition, which is always a plus. Now let's talk about what's under the hood. This Continental is powered by a beefy 8-cylinder engine, which means you've got plenty of power at your disposal. And with rear-wheel drive, you'll feel like you're gliding down the road in style. The odometer shows just 76,000 miles, which is pretty low for a car of this age. That's a testament to how well this Continental has been cared for over the years. And speaking of care, the seller mentions that the previous owner replaced the carburetor and gas tank, which is a good sign. It means they were willing to invest in the car's upkeep. But the current owner hasn't been slacking either. They've had the brakes, master cylinder, tires, and battery replaced, and even had some paintwork done. Plus, they had the window actuators repaired, so you won't have to worry about getting stuck with a window that won't roll up or down. Now, I do have to mention that the AC needs some work or an upgrade, but that's not unusual for a car of this age. And the seller does note that there's some minor rust, which is to be expected on a classic car. But overall, it sounds like this Continental has been well maintained and is ready for its next owner. One thing that really stands out to me is the color. This Continental is a classic white, which just screams elegance and sophistication. And with power windows and a power antenna, you'll feel like royalty every time you get behind the wheel. The seller mentions that the car has always been garage kept, which is another big plus. It means that this Continental hasn't been exposed to the elements as much as some other classic cars might have been. Now, I know some of you might be thinking, but wait, it's an old car, won't it be a hassle to maintain? And sure, classic cars do require a bit more TLC than your average modern vehicle. But the seller seems to have done a lot of the heavy lifting already with all the recent repairs and upgrades. And honestly, there's just something special about driving a piece of automotive history like this Continental. So if you're in the market for a classic car with plenty of style and character, this 1977 Lincoln Continental is definitely worth checking out. The seller seems anxious to sell and is only accepting cash, so be prepared to move fast if you want to make this beauty yours. And please, no joyriders. This car deserves a serious owner who will appreciate it for the classic marvel it is. 4. We're taking a closer look at a 1966 Ford Mustang Coupe that's up for sale on Craigslist, and let me tell you, this one is a real gem. First things first, let's talk about the price. At $13,000, this Mustang isn't the cheapest classic car out there. But when you consider the condition it's in and the fact that it's a genuine 66 Mustang, it starts to look like a pretty solid deal. Now, let's dive into the details. This Mustang is powered by a 6-cylinder engine, which might not be as beefy as the V8 options that were available in 66. But it's still got plenty of pep. And with an automatic transmission, it's a breeze to drive, even if you're not used to classic cars. The seller mentions that this Mustang runs excellently, which is always a good sign. And the fact that it's got bucket seats and spoke hubcaps just adds to the classic Mustang look and feel. But what really sets this Mustang apart is its condition. The seller notes that it's an original California car, which means it's been spared the rust and corrosion that can plague classic cars from other parts of the country. The floors and trunk are said to be in excellent condition, with no rust, which is a big deal for a car that's over 50 years old. The interior is described as nice, which suggests that it's been well maintained over the years. And the paint is also said to be nice, so this Mustang should look great cruising down the road. One thing that caught my eye is the GT stripes. While the seller doesn't mention whether this is a genuine GT model, the stripes definitely add a sporty touch to this classic Mustang's look. And of course, the fact that this Mustang comes with a clean title in hand is a big plus. It means that you won't have to worry about any legal hassles or ownership disputes down the line. Now, I know that 97,000 miles might seem like a lot for a classic car, but for a 66 Mustang, it's actually not too bad. These cars were built to last, and with proper maintenance, they can keep running strong for many more miles to come. So if you're in the market for a classic Mustang that's in great shape and ready to hit the road, this 66 Coupe is definitely worth checking out. It's got the look, the feel, and the condition that Mustang fans crave, and at $13,000, it's priced fairly for what you're getting. Just imagine cruising down the road in this classic pony car, turning heads and getting thumbs up from other classic car enthusiasts. It's the kind of experience that only a genuine 66 Mustang can provide, and this one seems like it's ready to provide it for many more years to come. 5. We're taking a closer look at a 1967 Chevrolet El Camino that's up for grabs on Craigslist. And let me tell you, this one is a real head-turner. First off, let's talk about the El Camino itself. For those who don't know, the El Camino was Chevy's answer to the Ford Ranchero, a half-car, half-truck hybrid that offered the best of both worlds. And the 67 model year was a real sweet spot for the El Camino with its classic styling and powerful engine options. Now let's dive into the details of this particular El Camino. The seller describes it as a running driving project, which suggests that it's not in perfect condition, but it's also not a complete basket case. The fact that it runs and drives is a big plus, as it means you won't have to start from scratch to get this baby back on the road. The seller mentions that they have interior pieces and a new front windshield, as well as a rear window and stainless window trim. This is great news, as sourcing these parts can be a real challenge for classic car projects. Having them included in the sale is a definite bonus. Under the hood, this El Camino is packing a beefy 8-cylinder engine which should provide plenty of power for cruising and hauling. And with rear-wheel drive, you'll get that classic muscle car feel behind the wheel. The odometer shows 95,434 miles, which is not too shabby for a car that's over 50 years old. Of course, with any classic car project, you'll want to give it a thorough inspection to make sure there are no hidden issues lurking beneath the surface. The white paint job looks clean in the photos, but the seller doesn't provide a ton of detail about the body condition. It's possible that there are some dings or rust spots that will need to be addressed, but that's par for the course with a project car like this. One thing that's great to see is that this El Camino comes with a clean title. That means you won't have to worry about any legal hassles or ownership disputes down the line. Now, let's talk about the price. At $14,000, this El Camino is not exactly a cheap project car. But when you consider the potential of this classic Chevy and the fact that it comes with some key parts included, it starts to look like a pretty solid deal for the right buyer. The seller seems open to answering questions, which is always a good sign. If you're seriously interested in this El Camino, it's definitely worth reaching out to get more details and potentially schedule a time to see it in person. Overall, if you're a fan of classic Chevys and you're looking for a project car with tons of potential, this 1967 El Camino is definitely worth checking out. With its classic styling, powerful engine, and included parts, it could be the start of a really special build. Just be prepared to put in some work to get it to where you want it to be. But hey, that's half the fun of a project car, right? 6. All right, let's dive a little deeper into this 1981 Lincoln Town car, shall we? First off, let's talk about the history of the Lincoln Town car. This model was first introduced in 1981, and it quickly became a favorite among luxury car enthusiasts. It was known for its spacious interior, smooth ride, and classic styling. And the fact that this particular car has had only one owner in its lifetime? That's a testament to how well it's been cared for over the years. Now let's talk about some of the specific features of this car. The V8302 fuel injector engine is a real powerhouse. It's got plenty of horsepower and torque to get you up to speed quickly and smoothly. And with proper maintenance, these engines can last for hundreds of thousands of miles. The interior of this car is where it really shines, though. Lincoln was known for using high-quality materials in their interiors, and this car is no exception. The seats are likely to be plush and comfortable, with plenty of legroom for even the tallest drivers. And if the interior is truly like new, as the seller claims, then you can expect it to look and feel just as good as it did when it rolled off the assembly line over 40 years ago. Moving on to the exterior, the brown paint color is a classic choice that never goes out of style. It's a color that exudes sophistication and elegance, and it's sure to turn heads wherever you go. And with no rust on the body, you can be confident that this car has been well maintained and stored properly over the years. The original rims and new tires are another great feature of this car. The fact that the original rims are still in place is a sign that this car has been loved and cared for by its owner. And with new tires, you won't have to worry about replacing them anytime soon, which can be a big expense on classic cars. Finally, let's talk about the driving experience. The seller mentions that this car drives excellently, and that's exactly what you want to hear when you're considering a classic car. With a smooth ride, plenty of power, and a spacious interior, this car is sure to be a joy to drive. Whether you're cruising down the highway or just taking a leisurely drive around town, this Lincoln Town car is sure to impress. So there you have it, folks. A closer look at this amazing 1981 Lincoln Town car. With its excellent condition, classic styling, and impressive features, this car is a true gem. If you're in the market for a vintage luxury car, this one is definitely worth considering. Just remember to give the seller a call if you're interested. No emails or texts, please. 7. We've got a real treat for you. A 1985 Pontiac Firebird Trans Am that's up for grabs on Craigslist. This classic American muscle car is being offered at a price of $11,000. And let me tell you, it's a deal you don't want to miss. Now, I know what you might be thinking. A car from the 80s with only 3,000 miles on the odometer? That seems too good to be true. Well, the seller is upfront about the fact that the odometer has rolled over, so the actual mileage is likely much higher. But don't let that deter you. This car is still in great shape for its age. The seller describes the car as clean, with no warning lights on the dashboard. That's a good sign that it's been well maintained over the years. And the fact that it drives great is another plus. You can hop behind the wheel and feel the power of that classic Pontiac engine. Now let's talk about some of the specific features of this car. It's got an automatic transmission, which makes it easy to drive even if you're not used to a manual. And with a clean title, you can be confident that there are no hidden issues or surprises waiting for you down the road. The seller mentions that this is an honest deal from an independent car dealer, which is always a good thing to hear. They personally test drive all their cars and make sure they pass emissions inspections before putting them up for sale. That shows that they take pride in the vehicles they offer and want to make sure their customers are getting a quality product. And if you're worried about buying a used car, don't be. The seller welcomes pre-purchase inspections and even offers third-party warranties. That means you can have a mechanic of your choice take a look at the car before you buy it, and you can get some extra peace of mind with a warranty. One thing to keep in mind, the seller is looking for serious cash buyers only. So if you're interested in this car, make sure you've got the funds ready to go. And if you're in the Euless area, you can even schedule an appointment to see the car in person. Overall, this 1985 Pontiac Firebird Trans Am seems like a great find for any classic car enthusiast. It's got the iconic styling of the Trans Am with a clean title and a dealer who takes pride in their vehicles. And at $11,000, it's a fair price for a piece of American muscle car history. So if you're in the market for a classic ride, this one is definitely worth checking out. 8. We've got a real blast from the past to talk about, a 1981 Cadillac Fleetwood Brougham that's up for sale on Craigslist. This classic luxury car is being offered at a price of $5,000, and let me tell you, it's got a lot of character. First off, let's talk about the mileage. This Fleetwood has under 90,000 miles on the odometer, which is pretty impressive for a car that's over 40 years old. It's clear that this car has been well maintained and cared for throughout its life. Now, the seller does mention a few issues with the car, but nothing that seems too major. The vinyl top is cracking due to sun damage, which is a common problem with older cars. But the good news is that the vinyl top is the only part of the car that's not original, and it was replaced about 7 years ago. The seller also mentions a power steering leak, which could be caused by a faulty hose or power steering pump. This is a relatively easy fix for a mechanic and shouldn't be too expensive to repair. The fuel gauge is also incorrect, which could be a simple matter of replacing the sending unit or the gauge itself. And the windshield wipers don't work, which could be caused by a blown fuse or a faulty motor. Again, these are relatively minor issues that shouldn't be too difficult or expensive to fix. Overall, this 1981 Cadillac Fleetwood Brougham seems to be in good condition for its age. It's got a clean title, which means there are no major issues with the car's history. And with a price tag of just $5,000, it's a great deal for anyone looking for a classic luxury car with plenty of style and character. Of course, as with any used car, it's always a good idea to get a pre-purchase inspection from a trusted mechanic. They can take a closer look at the car and identify any potential issues that the seller may not have mentioned. But if you're in the market for a classic Cadillac that's got a lot of personality and a great price, this 1981 Fleetwood Brougham is definitely worth checking out. It's a piece of automotive history that's sure to turn heads wherever you go. So if you're ready to take a step back in time and experience the luxury and style of a bygone era, give this car a closer look. 9. We're taking a look at a classic 1975 Chevrolet Corvette convertible that's up for sale on Craigslist. This beauty is being offered at a price of $12,000, and let me tell you, it's a car that's sure to turn heads. First off, let's talk about the condition of this Corvette. The seller mentions that it's in good condition for its age, which is pretty impressive considering it's almost 50 years old. Sure, there are some chips in the paint that have been touched up, but that's to be expected with a car of this vintage. The important thing is that it still looks great overall. Now, let's talk about what's under the hood. This Corvette is powered by a beefy 8-cylinder engine, which means it's got plenty of power to get you where you need to go. And with rear-wheel drive, you'll feel like you're really connected to the road when you're behind the wheel. The seller does mention that the brakes need to be bled before the car is driven, but that's a relatively minor issue that can be easily fixed. And once that's taken care of, the seller says that the car runs and drives great. One of the best things about this Corvette is that it's a convertible, which means you can enjoy the wind in your hair and the sun on your face as you cruise down the road. And if you want a little more protection from the elements, the car also comes with a matching hardtop. How cool is that? Another great thing about this car is that it's got just 95,000 original miles on the odometer. For a car that's almost half a century old, that's pretty low mileage. It's clear that this Corvette has been well cared for over the years. The seller mentions that they're selling the car for their elderly father, which is a common reason for classic cars to come up for sale. It's always great to see these vintage beauties being passed down from generation to generation. And at $12,000 or best offer, this Corvette is a great deal for anyone who loves classic sports cars. Sure, it may need a little bit of work here and there, but that's part of the fun of owning a vintage car. Overall, this 1975 Chevrolet Corvette convertible is a fantastic find on Craigslist. It's got a clean title, low mileage, and a great look that's sure to turn heads wherever you go. If you're in the market for a classic sports car that's got plenty of style and character, this Corvette is definitely worth checking out. So what are you waiting for? Get in touch with the seller and make an offer before someone else snaps it up. 10. We've got a real gem to talk about. A 1958 Rambler Custom that's up for sale on Craigslist. This beautiful piece of automotive history is being offered at a price of $8,200. And let me tell you, it's worth every penny. First off, let's talk about the condition of this Rambler. The seller describes it as being in excellent condition, and from the looks of it, they're not exaggerating. The body is rust-free and finished in what appears to be the original paint, which has just the right amount of patina to give it that classic look. It's clear that this car has been well cared for over the years. Under the hood, you'll find a 198 cubic inch 6-cylinder engine that's paired with a 3-speed Borg-Warner automatic transmission. And get this, the gear selection is handled by a push-button selector. How cool is that? It's a unique feature that you don't see very often, and it just adds to the overall charm of this car. The interior of this Rambler has been professionally restored back to its original condition, and it looks absolutely stunning. All the chrome and stainless trim is in good shape, and there's no broken glass to deal with. Even the spare tire in the trunk looks like it might be original. But the real test of any classic car is how it drives. And according to the seller, this Rambler drives as good as it looks. They even say that it gets compliments every time they take it out for a spin. And who wouldn't love this car? It may not be as flashy as a '58 Ferrari, but it's got a cool factor that's hard to match. Now let's talk about the price. The seller is asking $8,200 for this beauty, which may seem like a lot at first glance. But when you consider the excellent condition of this car, the professional restoration work that's been done, and the fact that it's a rare and unique piece of automotive history, it's actually a pretty fair price. Plus, the seller says they're open to reasonable offers, so there may be some wiggle room there. Overall, this 1958 Rambler Custom is a fantastic find for any classic car enthusiast. It's got style, character, and a cool factor that's hard to beat. And with its excellent condition and professional restoration work, it's a car that you can be proud to own and drive. So if you're in the market for a classic car that's sure to turn heads and start conversations, this Rambler is definitely worth checking out. 11. We've got a real treat for you, a 1977 Ford Thunderbird that's up for grabs on Craigslist. This classic American luxury car is being offered at a price of just $4,000, and let me tell you, it's an absolute steal. First off, let's talk about the condition of this Thunderbird. The seller describes it as being in excellent condition both inside and out, and from the looks of it, they are not exaggerating. The car has been stored indoors, which has helped to preserve its pristine condition over the years. It's clear that this Thunderbird has been well cared for by its previous owners. Under the hood, you'll find a powerful 302 Windsor engine that's paired with an automatic transmission. This engine is known for its reliability and performance, and it's sure to provide plenty of power for cruising down the highway or just running errands around town. The seller also mentions that the car has brand new tires, which is a big plus. New tires can be expensive, so it's great to know that you won't have to worry about replacing them anytime soon. Another impressive feature of this Thunderbird is its low mileage. With just 86,600 original miles on the odometer, this car has barely been broken in. It's rare to find a classic car with such low mileage, and it's a testament to how well this Thunderbird has been maintained over the years. The car is finished in a beautiful red paint color that's sure to turn heads wherever you go. There's just something about a classic car in a bold, bright color that really makes it stand out from the crowd. Now let's talk about the price. At just $4,000, this Thunderbird is an absolute bargain. You'd be hard-pressed to find another classic car in such great condition for such a low price. And with its clean title, you can be confident that there are no hidden issues or surprises waiting for you down the road. The only potential downside to this car is its location. It's located outside of Priest River, Idaho, which may be a bit of a trek for some buyers. However, the seller mentions that it's close to Spokane, Washington, which is a major city with plenty of amenities and attractions. Overall, this 1977 Ford Thunderbird is an absolute gem of a find on Craigslist. It's in excellent condition, has low mileage, and comes at an unbeatable price. If you're in the market for a classic American luxury car that's sure to turn heads and provide plenty of driving enjoyment, this Thunderbird is definitely worth checking out. So what are you waiting for? Get in touch with the seller and make an offer before someone else snaps it up. 12. All right, let's take an even closer look at this 1966 Ford Mustang. As a car enthusiast, I know how important it is to get all the details before making a decision on a classic ride like this. First off, let's talk about the condition of the car. The seller mentions that there's no rust and that the floor pans are clean, which is a great sign. Rust can be a real problem with older cars, especially if it's not caught and dealt with early on. It can lead to structural issues and make the car unsafe to drive. So the fact that this Mustang is rust-free is a big plus. The seller also notes that the car has its original inline-six engine and automatic transmission. This is good news for anyone who values originality in a classic car. While some folks might prefer a V8 engine for more power, the inline-six is a reliable and efficient choice that still has plenty of get up and go. And with an automatic transmission, this Mustang should be easy to drive and enjoy, even if you're not used to working a manual gearbox. Now, let's talk about that odometer reading. 50,000 miles is pretty low for a car that's been around for over 50 years. But as I mentioned before, it's possible that the odometer has rolled over or been replaced at some point. So, while it's a good sign that the mileage is low, it's not a guarantee. That's why it's so important to have a mechanic check out the car before you buy it, to make sure there aren't any hidden issues. Another thing to consider is the value of a clean title. When you're buying a used car, you always want to make sure that the title is clean and clear. That means there aren't any outstanding liens or legal issues that could come back to haunt you down the road. With this Mustang, the seller is offering a clean title in hand, which is a great sign that they're serious about the sale and that there shouldn't be any problems with the paperwork. Finally, let's talk about the price. At $9,500, this Mustang is definitely on the more affordable end of the spectrum for a classic car. Of course, the price will depend on a lot of factors, like the overall condition of the car, any modifications or upgrades that have been made, and the current market demand for classic Mustangs. But if this car checks out and is as good as the seller claims, it could be a really great deal. So there you have it. A closer look at this 1966 Ford Mustang that's up for sale on Craigslist. As with any used car purchase, it's important to do your research, ask plenty of questions, and have a trusted mechanic check it out before you make a decision. But if you're in the market for a classic Mustang with plenty of style and character, this could be a great opportunity to own a piece of American automotive history. 13. All right, let's dive a little deeper into what makes this 1984 Pontiac Fiero so special. As a mid-engine sports car, the Fiero was a groundbreaking model for Pontiac. It was designed to compete with the likes of the Toyota MR2 and the Fiat X1/9. And it quickly gained a reputation for its impressive handling and unique styling. This particular Fiero is an SE model, which means it comes loaded with all the best features Pontiac had to offer in 1984. From the plush interior to the sport-tuned suspension, every aspect of this car was designed with the driving enthusiast in mind. And can we talk about the mileage for a second? With only 18,352 miles on the odometer, this Fiero has been incredibly well preserved over the years. It's rare to find a classic car that's been driven so sparingly. And it's a testament to the care and dedication of the previous owners. But the real magic of this Fiero lies in the driving experience. The mid-engine layout provides incredible balance and handling, making it a joy to take on twisty back roads or cruise down the highway. And with the 2.5L four-cylinder engine providing plenty of power, you'll never feel like you're lacking in the performance department. Of course, no car is perfect, and it's important to note that the Fiero does have a few quirks. The rear visibility can take some getting used to, and the lack of power steering can make low-speed maneuvering a bit of a workout. But these are small trade-offs for the incredible driving experience that the Fiero provides. At the end of the day, this 1984 Pontiac Fiero is a rare find that's sure to appeal to any car enthusiast. Whether you're a die-hard Pontiac fan or just someone who appreciates a well-preserved classic, this car is sure to impress. So why wait? Head on over to Craigslist and make this Fiero yours before someone else snatches it up. 14. We're taking a closer look at a 1972 Cadillac Coupe de Ville that's currently up for grabs on Craigslist. This beauty is a true icon of American luxury, and it's just waiting for the right enthusiast to give it the love and attention it deserves. First things first, let's talk about that engine. Under the hood, you'll find a beefy 472 cubic inch V8 that's sure to turn heads whenever you fire it up. The seller mentions that it runs strong and sounds absolutely awesome, which is exactly what you want to hear when you're talking about a classic Caddy. Now, I know you might be thinking, but what about the condition? Well, here's the deal. The seller is upfront about the fact that this DeVille needs some cosmetic work to bring it back to its former glory. But don't let that scare you off. The interior is said to be in pretty decent shape with only a couple of small tears and a driver's door panel that needs a little TLC. The dashboard is crack-free, which is a big plus in my book. The real beauty of this car is that it's a fantastic starter project for someone who wants to get their feet wet in the world of classic car restoration. The seller has already put in some work, so you won't be starting from scratch. And with an asking price of just $9,500 or best offer, you'll have plenty of room in your budget to make this DeVille truly your own. But don't just take my word for it. The seller encourages serious buyers to reach out and schedule a time to come see the car in person. They're happy to go over all the little details and give you a full rundown of what this Caddy needs to be perfect. At the end of the day, this 1972 Cadillac Coupe de Ville is a rare find that's sure to make any classic car enthusiast weak in the knees. It's got a clean title, a strong running engine, and a whole lot of potential. So what are you waiting for? Grab the phone, give the seller a call, and get ready to make this American icon your next pride and joy. 15. All right, let's dive a little deeper into what makes this 1965 Plymouth Valiant such a special car. As a member of the Mopar family, the Valiant has a rich history that dates back to the early 1960s. It was designed to be a reliable, affordable, and stylish alternative to the more expensive full-size cars of the era, and it quickly gained a reputation for its durability and performance. This particular Valiant has been given a new lease on life thanks to a series of upgrades and modifications. The rebuilt 318 engine is a true workhorse, known for its reliability and power. And with the addition of the Holley Brawler carburetor, you can expect even better throttle response and overall performance. But the upgrades don't stop there. The seller has also installed a new starter, exhaust system, and battery, ensuring that this Valiant is ready to hit the road at a moment's notice. And with the rebuilt 727 transmission and B4M Z-gate shifter, you'll have complete control over the power at your fingertips. Of course, no classic car is complete without a little bit of style, and this Valiant has that in spades. The red paint job is a classic Mopar color that never goes out of style, and the turbine rims add a touch of vintage cool that's sure to turn heads wherever you go. Now, it's important to remember that this is a project car, and as such, it may have a few quirks and imperfections. The seller mentions that the odometer is broken, so it's hard to say exactly how many miles are on the engine and transmission, but that's all part of the charm of owning a classic car. It's not about perfection, it's about the journey. and what a journey it will be. Imagine cruising down the road in this classic Valiant. The sound of the 318 engine rumbling through the exhaust, the wind in your hair, and the admiring glances of passers-by. It's the kind of experience that only a true car enthusiast can appreciate, and it's one that you'll never forget. So if you're ready to take on the challenge of owning a classic Mopar, this 1965 Plymouth Valiant is the perfect place to start. With its rebuilt engine, new upgrades, and vintage style, it's a car that's sure to provide years of driving enjoyment and pride of ownership. But don't just take my word for it. Come see this Valiant for yourself. The seller is eager to find the right buyer who will give this car the love and attention it deserves, so don't hesitate to reach out and schedule a test drive. Who knows, you might just find yourself falling in love with classic Mopar style all over again. 16. We've got a real treat for you. A 1983 Cadillac Seville that's just begging for a new owner to give it some love and attention. This limited edition model is currently up for grabs on Craigslist, and let me tell you, it's a project car with a whole lot of potential. First off, let's talk about what makes this Seville so special. As a limited edition model, it comes equipped with a unique fifth wheel on the trunk, a feature that's sure to turn heads wherever you go. And with most parts replaced brand new, including a rebuilt transmission, this Caddy has a solid foundation for your restoration project. Now, I know what you might be thinking. What's the catch? Well, the seller is upfront about the fact that this Seville is in fair condition and needs some cosmetic work. The odometer has also rolled over, so it's hard to say exactly how many miles are on the engine and transmission. But here's the thing. That's all part of the fun of owning a classic car. It's not about perfection. It's about the journey of bringing a piece of automotive history back to life. And what a journey it will be. Imagine cruising down the road in this classic Seville, the sound of the engine purring, the wind in your hair, and the admiring glances of passers-by. With its custom paint job and unique features, this Caddy is sure to stand out from the crowd. But the real beauty of this car is the opportunity it presents. As a project car, it's a chance to put your own stamp on a piece of automotive history. Whether you want to restore it to its original glory or give it a modern twist, the possibilities are endless. And with an asking price of just $8,000, it's an affordable way to get into the world of classic car ownership. Of course, it's important to go into a project like this with your eyes wide open. The seller admits that the car needs some love and cosmetic work, so you'll want to be prepared to put in some time and effort to get it looking its best. But for the right enthusiast, that's all part of the fun. So if you're ready to take on the challenge of owning a classic Cadillac, this 1983 Seville is the perfect place to start. With its unique features, solid foundation, and endless potential, it's a car that's sure to provide years of driving enjoyment and pride of ownership. But don't just take my word for it. Come see this Seville for yourself. The seller is eager to find the right buyer who will give this car the love and attention it deserves. So don't hesitate to reach out and schedule a test drive. Who knows? You might just find yourself falling in love with classic Cadillac style all over again. 17. We're taking a closer look at a 1950 Cadillac Fleetwood 62 that's currently available on Craigslist. This iconic beauty has been in the same family for over 2 decades, and now it's looking for a new owner who will appreciate its history and potential. First things first, let's talk about that engine. Under the hood, you'll find the original 331 CI-V8 that's been converted to a more modern 12-volt system. While the seller admits that the car has been sitting for a while and will need some TLC to get it back on the road, the fact that it ran before being parked is a promising sign. Now, I know some of you might be hesitant about taking on a project car, but let me tell you, the rewards of bringing a classic like this back to life are immeasurable. Imagine cruising down the road in this sleek black Fleetwood, the sound of that V8 rumbling beneath you, and the admiring glances of everyone you pass. It's an experience that money can't buy. Of course, the seller is upfront about the fact that this Caddy will need some work before it's roadworthy again. The gas tank and battery will need to be replaced, and all the fluids will need to be flushed, since it's been sitting for a while. But for a true enthusiast, that's all part of the fun. It's a chance to get your hands dirty and really connect with the car on a deeper level. And let's not forget about the history behind this Fleetwood. With over 20 years in the same family, you know it's been cherished and well cared for. It's a car with a story to tell, and as the new owner, you'll get to be a part of that story. Now, I know the asking price of $9,000 might seem steep for a car that needs work, but hear me out. This is a rare opportunity to own a piece of automotive history. The Fleetwood 62 was one of the most luxurious and sought-after cars of its time, and finding one in this condition is getting harder and harder. Plus, with a clean Nevada title, you can be sure that you're getting a car with a clear history and no hidden surprises. So if you're serious about classic cars and ready to take on a rewarding project, this 1950 Cadillac Fleetwood 62 is the one for you. Don't let this opportunity pass you by. Give the seller a call and schedule a time to come see it in person. Who knows, you might just fall in love with this iconic beauty and make it the centerpiece of your collection. But remember, the seller is only interested in serious inquiries, so make sure you're ready to take on the challenge before you reach out. With a little bit of elbow grease and a lot of love, this Fleetwood could be the car of your dreams. Don't wait. Make it yours today. 18. We've got a real gem for you. A 1979 Lincoln Continental that's sure to turn heads and make your heart skip a beat. This beauty is currently up for grabs on Craigslist, and let me tell you, it's a deal you won't want to miss. First off, can we just take a moment to appreciate the fact that this Continental has only 49,000 miles on it? That's right, folks. This car has been cherished and well-maintained over the years, and it shows. The seller even mentions that they just took it on a cross-country road trip, and it performed like a champ. But it's not just about the low mileage with this Continental. Under the hood, you'll find a powerful 400 CI V8 engine that's ready to take you wherever you want to go. And with new tires and a new stereo system, you'll be cruising in style and comfort. Now, I know what you might be thinking. What's the catch? Well, there isn't one. The seller describes the car as being in excellent condition, and based on the photos, it's easy to see why. The white paint job is clean and shiny, and the interior looks like it's been well cared for over the years. But the real beauty of this Continental lies in its history. As a classic car from the late 1970s, it represents a time when American automakers were at the top of their game. Lincoln was known for producing luxurious, high-quality vehicles that were the epitome of style and sophistication. And this Continental is no exception. Imagine cruising down the road in this classic beauty, the sun shining on that gleaming white paint, the sound of the V8 engine purring under the hood. It's an experience that every car enthusiast should have at least once in their life. And with an asking price of just $13,950, this Continental is a steal. Sure, it's not the cheapest classic car out there, but when you consider the low mileage, excellent condition, and historical significance, it's a small price to pay for a piece of automotive history. So if you're in the market for a classic car that's sure to impress, this 1979 Lincoln Continental is the one for you. Don't let this opportunity pass you by. Give the seller a call and schedule a time to come see it in person. Trust me, once you get behind the wheel and feel the power of that V8 engine, you'll be hooked. But don't wait too long. A car like this won't stay on the market forever. With its combination of style, performance, and historical significance, it's sure to find a new owner soon. So, what are you waiting for? Make this 1979 Lincoln Continental yours today and start living your classic car dreams. 19. All right, let's dive a little deeper into what makes this 1976 Chrysler Newport Custom such a remarkable find. For starters, the Chrysler Newport was a full-size car that was produced by Chrysler from 1961 to 1981. It was known for its spacious interior, smooth ride, and impressive performance. The 1976 model, in particular, was part of the 9th generation of Newports, which were produced from 1974 to 1978. What sets this particular Newport apart, however, is its incredible condition. With just 41,875 original miles, it's clear that this car was someone's pride and joy. The fact that it was always stored indoors is a testament to the level of care and attention that went into preserving this classic beauty. It's rare to find a car from this era in such pristine condition, especially one with such low mileage. The like-new condition of this Newport is not just limited to its exterior. The seller mentions that it comes with power windows, cruise control, a heater, and air conditioning, all of which are said to be in perfect working order. These features were considered luxury items back in the 1970s, and the fact that they're still functioning perfectly is a testament to the quality of the car's construction and the level of maintenance it's received over the years. But let's talk about what really matters: the driving experience. With a massive 400 GP engine under the hood, this Newport is no slouch when it comes to performance. The 8-cylinder engine provides plenty of power, while the rear-wheel drive ensures that the car handles like a dream. And with new tires and shocks, you can expect a smooth and comfortable ride even on rougher roads. Of course, no discussion of a classic car would be complete without mentioning its style. The green paint color of this Newport is a perfect example of the bold and vibrant colors that were popular in the 1970s. It's a shade that's sure to turn heads wherever you go, and it perfectly complements the car's classic lines and curves. All in all, this 1976 Chrysler Newport Custom is a rare find that's sure to appeal to any car enthusiast. Its combination of low mileage, excellent condition, impressive features, and stunning style make it a true standout in the world of classic cars. And at just $8,600, it's an investment that's sure to pay off in the long run. If you're lucky enough to snag this beauty, you'll be the proud owner of a piece of automotive history that's sure to bring you joy for years to come. 20. We've got a real gem for you. A 1964 Buick Skylark that's currently up for sale on Craigslist. This classic convertible is priced at $13,000, and let me tell you, it's a fair deal considering the incredible features and condition of this beauty. First off, let's talk about the heart of this Skylark, the engine. Under the hood, you'll find a newly rebuilt Wildcat 310 V8 engine, which is sure to provide plenty of power and performance. With 8 cylinders and rear-wheel drive, this Buick is built for both speed and comfort, and with power steering and an automatic transmission, driving this classic is a breeze. Now, let's talk about the condition. The seller describes it as being in good condition, and based on the details provided, I'm inclined to agree. The seller mentions that the car is very stock and original, which is a huge plus for collectors and enthusiasts who value authenticity. Additionally, the seller notes that there is no rust on the car, which is incredibly important for a vehicle of this age. Rust can be a major problem for classic cars, and the fact that this Skylark is rust-free is a testament to how well it's been maintained over the years. The white paint color is a classic choice that perfectly complements the Skylark's vintage style. There's just something about a white convertible that screams elegance and sophistication, and this Buick is no exception. The odometer shows 95,000 miles, which may seem like a lot at first glance. However, it's important to keep in mind that this is a 57-year-old vehicle, and the fact that it's still running strong is a testament to the quality of its construction and the level of care it's received over the years. Plus, with a newly rebuilt engine, you can expect this Skylark to keep running smoothly for many more miles to come. Finally, the seller mentions that the car comes with a clean title status, which is always a good sign. It means that there are no hidden issues or surprises waiting for you down the road. In summary, if you're in the market for a classic convertible that's been well maintained and comes with a powerful engine and plenty of original features, this 1964 Buick Skylark is definitely worth considering. At $13,000, it's a fair price for a car this caliber, and it's sure to turn heads wherever you go. Don't wait too long though, with a car this cool, it's sure to get snatched up quickly.